Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from Gems of Hope. Beth Hammell is one of the founders of the Gems of Hope organization. Beth, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
And Sarah McCaffery is executive director of the organization. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you.
So, for those who aren't familiar with Gems of Hope, Beth, as one of the founders, I'm going to let you tell us the story of how the organization came about.
Okay. We are a small nonprofit here in Cedar Rapids, and we began this journey, I guess, if you will, in 2005. And our main instigator of Gems of Hope, Sheila Harmon, was diagnosed with cancer. And about a month later, I was diagnosed with cancer. And so at the end of our treatments, we had been in different scenarios where we saw a lot of people that did not have the support that we had. The um, telephone calls or emails or visits. And at one point, Sheila had said, I saw someone today come in a taxi for their chemo treatment and leave in a taxi. We've got to do something. And so we asked Cindy Sale, who is the third co-founder of Gems of Hope, to join us. And it's pretty much like a grassroots organizational, beginnings. We sat around our dining room table. We decided we would make some cards and attach a gem to those cards and give them to cancer patients that are receiving treatment here in Cedar Rapids, as well as now in the corridor. So those gems on those cards, which we call gifts of hope, could be a serenity circle, it could be a pair of earrings, it could be a bookmark or a hope stone. And all of these gems, then we turned that part of it into the community to come forward and actually help us make the cards and make all of the jewelry that we could. And thus, that was the very beginnings of Gems of Hope.
That was the beginning, but the organization has changed, and I know that the mission has expanded, and also activities have expanded. Sarah, tell me a little bit about how the organization has changed over the years.
Well, I would say our programming that continues to develop is one of our biggest changes we've seen. We have a youth advisory board, which runs our Cancer Really Sucks website, which is cancerreallysucks.org. We have a program called What About Us, which is for children ages 5 to 10 who have family members that have been impacted by cancer. The program was written by a social worker. Our Gifts of Hope are still going strong. This year we saw a large pivot to masks because the need for masks were there. We also have our books that we provide to the different libraries at schools that are centered around age appropriate cancer related books, so children can check them out if they want to learn more. If they have a family member that is impacted by cancer, they can check out one of those books and learn more. And we also do quite a few scholarships for high school seniors in the area that have been impacted by cancer directly with an immediate family member. So those are our main programs that we.
The focus on young people has been a part of the organization from the very beginning, and Beth, that's because Sheila had young children who were involved, who obviously were involved and affected, but then also had a big role in the organization as it came about, right?
That's correct. Tori at the time was 9, and as obvious, was very affected by her mom's illness. And for her to have her kind of grasp what was going on in the family, I think, and this is just my own opinion, she decided that maybe I'll just write notes. I'll write notes and I'll color pictures for mom because that'll make her feel better. And there were many times that Sheila would kind of give us some funny stories about where they would find these notes. And one of them was they got into bed one night and on the ceiling was this, "You've got this, Mom." And how she got it up there was a mystery because she was only 9 and not that tall. And so, but she would look in their chemo bag and there would be a note, or there'd be a note on her steering wheel. Thus, part of those Gifts of Hope cards was incorporated by us putting an inspirational note on those cards. So So between the gem being on it and the inspirational card, that became our gift of hope.
Your activities, Sarah, have had to have been changed, like everyone's have, by the pandemic, but in particular because of, because the folks you serve have, depressed immune systems. It just had to add a complicative effect that probably took a lot of brain power to figure out.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things we've seen is those going through cancer treatments, they need hope now more than ever because they can't be around other people and they have to isolate more often than just, we can go to the grocery store, but oftentimes they are not able to do that. So, wanting to still serve that community, we also had to take into account our volunteers and how do we get them together with the pandemic. So we have shifted to virtual workshops where we'll get the materials to people and then we'll have a virtual platform where we'll still make our gifts of hope, or we have take home kits now that they'll take home and create the gifts and bring them back. We also have our largest fundraiser right now, which is Hope Blooms, which we've had to generate a much larger online presence with an e-commerce store for that.
Tell me about the Hope Blooms campaign. How is it? How has it worked in the past, and what's the plan for the pandemic version?
I'll let Beth do the history and I'll talk about the current version. How about that?
That sounds fine. Many years ago, I was involved with the American Cancer Society, and their fundraiser was the the Daffodil Days. And so, as their organization began to expand, they wanted to have one single, very, very recognizable fundraiser, and they chose the Relay for Life. And they didn't want two conflicting fundraisers. And so, being that I had some contact with them, I asked if we could possibly then take over the Daffodil Days because this community has been so generous in many ways, and especially because of the fact that they knew about the daffodils. And so it was such a smooth transition. I think it helped them in maybe a possible negative that they weren't doing the daffodils, but yet someone was still continuing that tradition for them. And so we changed, obviously, the name to Hope Blooms, and this is our 8th year. And so it's been a blessing for us to be able to continue the daffodil story.
Sarah, how does somebody participate this year when you've moved to an online presence?
Well, we still have our traditional ordering methods. So we have individual order forms that we can mail out. We have business order forms, but we have hopeblooms2021.com where you can go and you can see all of the products. You can learn about what Hope Blooms is. You can learn about our honorary family. Each year we pick an honorary chair. This year it was a family where the father and son both had the same rare brain cancer. And we wanted to incorporate the family because we want to bring hope to the entire family. So we've got a mom, a brother of cancer patients. So there's stories on there, but you can purchase daffodils for yourself, or you can actually donate daffodils, which is a gift of hope, to somebody in the area going through cancer treatment. Or we have Dexter Hugs, which is our annual mascot. It's a really cute, cuddly little stuffed dog, which can be purchased as a keepsake or can be donated to a child impacted by cancer. And we're seeing quite a few of those moving online. So
the campaign's going on now. How long will people have to participate?
Now through February 8th is our last day.
It's Gems of Hope and the Hope Blooms campaign going on now through the first part of February. And again, the website where people can go to order their daffodils, Sarah, is?
hopeblooms2021.com.
And of course, if you or someone you know or love has been impacted by cancer, you can also reach out and get participate with Gems of Hope and make sure that your loved one or acquaintance gets a little bit of support as well. Yes?
Absolutely. If somebody is looking for an inspirational gift of hope, which are free for people to come pick up and deliver to somebody they know going through cancer, or caretakers or family members, they can contact us at office@gemsofhope.com. or they can visit our website, gemsofhope.org, and get all of that information and reach out to us.
Again, for the Hope Blooms campaign, it's hopeblooms2021.com, or for general information about Gems of Hope, gemsofhope.com. Sarah McCaffery and Beth Hammell, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio Thursdays and Fridays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.